Check, check. Quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What's going on, Coach Paul?
Hey, Coach Jay, I can hear you loud and clear. How's everybody doing on a pretty exciting day?
Pretty exciting day for sure. Pretty wild day. And we got some earnings coming out here. Got some earnings, middle of earnings season, and all the big tech companies are reporting right now. We got Google out. I think we have Qualcomm reporting as well. Coach Hoop posting those numbers in the chat right after the bell. We got those. So let's bring over the trading view charts really quick here. Let's take a look at what we got for Google and for Qualcomm. Switch that over there. And there you have it. Google earnings are out. Google revenue came in at 113.83 billion. Estimate was 111.4 billion.
So
Here. So it's a beat there on revenue. We can see what their market's reaction is. Pretty big sell-off there. Market. Okay, here we go.
coming back a bit.
Google closed the day down at right around $333. Spiked up initially up to 343, sold off down to 310s, and now trading 324. Again, really illiquid markets. Those numbers. Coach Hoop, did you get that earnings per share Google number? Let us know. I don't see it there. Google is very close to its all-time highs, right? It's been, out of all the tech companies, really strong rallying here. Just made a new all-time high yesterday at $350.15. Sold off a little bit there, trading 325s right now after these earnings. We got Qualcomm also. Let's take a look at Qualcomm. Another sell-off after the bell. Was trading $149 at the close, trading $140. You said buy it?
Yep, it seems to be the pattern we've had.
Yeah, initial knee-jerk reaction to the downside and then pop right back up. Got here for Qualcomm numbers. Qualcomm earnings per share came in at $3.50. Estimates were $3.41. Revenues came in at $12.25 billion. Estimates were $12.21 billion. Near-term handsets outlook impacted by industry-wide memory supply constraints. This is Qualcomm. Remains on track to achieve fiscal 2029 revenue goals. Sees Q2 revenue $10.2 billion to $11 billion. Estimated was $11.12 billion. Sees Q2 adjusted earnings per share $2.45 to $2.65. Estimates were $2.89. Still looking for, okay, full Google numbers. Here we go. We'll go back to Google here. Earnings per share came in at $2.82. Estimates were $2.65. Revenues came in at $113.8 billion. Estimates were $111.4 billion, so better there. Operating income, $35.93 billion. Estimates were $36.95. Services revenue came in higher than expected. YouTube ad revenue, this is what I always love to see since we're on YouTube every day. YouTube ad revenue came in at $11.38 billion. Estimates were $11.78 billion, so a little less than expected. Google is starting to get a little competition from Netflix in the streaming podcast space with YouTube. Netflix just recently started, their podcast business. Is a bunch of shows moving over there, so that'll be interesting to continue to watch how much of the market share that YouTube is going to continue to get from there. But there you have it. Anything you want to say about those numbers, Coach Paul?
The numbers themselves are well within the realm of expectation.
Yeah.
So no big shock. I was speaking. Bouncing
There
higher.
goes.
And is it ever good to be short Google?
Not for very long. It's going up. Jack was saying today it's eventually going to be the biggest company in the world, probably. CapEx might have been what shocked people here. CapEx $91.45 billion. Estimates were $28.17 billion.
Wow.
Sees 2026 CapEx 175 to 185 bill. Estimates were 119.5 billion. So that was probably what algos may have caught on to for that initial sell-off. But then here we look right back up. right back up, $334. Who said it in the chat? Brad Sims must be spending too much somewhere. All right, we'll find out where that is, but
what's the old saying? You got to spend money to make money.
right.
And how much is their bottom? And what is the company? How much cash do they have?
Operating income says 35.93 billion.
So
cash on hand, I'm not sure. Yeah, but
I see that as they're spending to grow.
Right.
And that's bullish to me.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that some of that spending went to AI that they're expecting some return from. But we will see. But you might ask, why are we looking at Google? Why are we looking at Qualcomm? We trade futures here. But NASDAQ weightings, let's check. Google is the number 6 heaviest weighted company in the NASDAQ. Actually, they have the Class A and Class C shares. They're 5 and 6, 6.2% and 5.76%. Kind of weird how they have that split up there. But Google is a very heavy part of the NASDAQ and the S&P. So again, as those markets move, I don't know what my dog's barking at. He never barks on it. That was weird. As those markets move,
on the phone buying Google.
Right, that might be it. As those markets move, we're going to see NASDAQ move as well. So we'll see that NASDAQ reaction after the bell. Initial sell-off under 24,880s, and then right back up here. Anything else you want to say on the earnings, Coach Paul? We can get right back into the charts.
Let's go back into the charts and review the day.
Let's do it. What a day it was in the markets. Let's take a look really quick at some news. We did have an ADP employment change coming at 22,000. Forecast was 45,000, so a lot lower than expected, giving us a little indication of what's going on in the job market. S&P Services PMI came in at 52.7. Forecast was 52.5. Composite PMI came in at 53. Forecast was 52.9. ISM Services PMI came in at 53.8. Forecast was 53.5. We had crude oil inventories more negative than expected. It came in at negative 3.455 million. Forecast was negative 0.6 million. We had the nuclear talks that were supposed to be held between Iran and the United States. They were off, and I think now they're back on.
The latest headline, it's off. It's on. It's off.
Yeah.
We'll see when they actually hold them.
Yeah.
And this has been going on, but there was some big reactions to it being on, being off, being on. So we'll continue to watch that.
Yeah.
Looks like Friday, 10 a.m.
Friday at 10 a.m.
Where? Muscat.
Okay.
Where's that, in Morocco?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
All right, let's ask our chat GPT, our chat. Where is Muscat?
Capital
I say Morocco without Googling.
Capital of Oman.
Oman, okay.
Capital of Oman.
All right.
And our culture knows. There you go. All right, let's take a look at the quote board. 36 different markets we could trade with Topstep accounts, and today to the downside, we had copper down 3.1%. Micro Bitcoin continuing to get sold off here, 3.83%, and Micro Ethereum futures, our biggest percentage mover to the downside, down 5.62%. To the upside, we had RBOB gasoline futures up 2.71%, silver up 4.66%, and natural gas, our biggest percentage mover to the upside, up 5.35% on the day. To talk about our big four, you have crude oil up 1.91%, the S&P down 0.25%, gold up 0.74%, and the NASDAQ down 1.55% on the day. I got a NASDAQ chart up here, Coach Paul. This is a daily. What are we seeing here? Let me just check this dog real quick. What are you seeing on this daily?
Sure. Still a rotation at the bottom end. Still sideways. How long we stay in this rotation, we don't know, but it's giving us some great intraday trades. So still the upside in a correction for what now is this, the 4th month. buy low, sell high. It's the really simple thing, and it's really working out. So we're towards the bottom of that range. We're halfway into the tariff tantrum candle. Yeah, we continue to go nowhere fast.
Absolutely. Under the 20 and 50-day moving averages, this white line here is just getting closer and closer, and it feels like we are due for a test of it. We're going to close the day right around 50% of this October 10th candle. We haven't spent a lot of time in the lower distribution of this candle. We spent a lot of time in the upper distribution, and no convinced buyers up there. Maybe we need to find them lower. And that
I think
200
we
moving
gotta
average
get
on
some
the
shorts
yeah,
to rally,
get them trapped.
get them trapped, right, and no one's trapped here.
No, no.
I said
Like you said, go ahead, Coach.
it's been great for intraday trading.
And absolutely, I've been loving the price action in the Nasdaq, and you know what that is? The daily ATR. Although we have not gone anywhere price-wise, the daily ATR is continuing to increase. It's at $472 now. We're going to keep mentioning that as the NASDAQ daily ATR increases, bigger opportunities. But at some point, that daily ATR, we saw it get, at one point in November, it was up at 560. You remember the craziness of 2025, it was all the way up at the 880s. But it didn't just jump up to 880s. It started to slowly crawl up until the crazy volatility that we had, and these 470s were right around there. Once it got above 500, things started to get a little crazy. I keep saying, and I could be wrong, but this is starting to feel a lot like the beginning of 2025 to me, where we had a market making all-time highs. We hadn't had a test of the 200 daily moving average in a very long time, and then we got one, and it all happened real quick. I don't know if that's going to happen the same way this year.
How
Different
long
circumstances.
were we in that sideways action? In
This year,
in last year, yeah,
this range. Okay, so
yeah. That started in October.
This started December. Let's see. It really depends where you want to measure it from, Coach Paul.
Yeah, from the that all-time high.
This
yeah.
all-time high. This was December to February, to the end of February.
So 70 days?
Right, 70 days. This one has been October.
90.
This has been about 90 days. Yeah, it feels very similar. That's higher
right.
time frame analysis. But what I do know is on a day trade perspective, this market is giving us some great opportunities if you're ready to take advantage of it. Let's take a look at last night's open. Pretty muted overnight session, Coach Paul.
Yeah, VWAP was flat. Although it left the range, it took till London, so
It never
with
left.
no energy. It was very flat, very staid action till New York came on. But
So
overnight, there's really not much to say.
it didn't really do anything. The metals did take the show last night. We'll take a look at that, but really didn't do much. We did reject at big fat round number level, 25 500s. Price advertised higher. Volume didn't. One of the things I want to point out here, Coach Paul, and we talked about this during the opening call, when the overnight session, so daily ATR, right? We'll go back to the daily for a second. Daily ATR in the NASDAQ, when we were looking at it for the opening call today, was around 450, right? 450. Let's do some math. Overnight session, high to low range was 182 points. What is that? 370? 270?
Yeah, 270.
270, right? So hopefully you guys understand the math I just did, right? If you're trading the New York session, and we talked about this during the opening call, it was almost the exact same trade as yesterday. The overnight session didn't really give us a whole lot to work with. And if we're going to see an at-range day, an at-average day, there's potential for it to come through the New York session. Now, we don't know where that's going to be, what side it's going to be on, but I'm going to be honest, as a trader who trades mostly the New York session, when I see a small overnight range like this and there's 270 points of range left, I can't wait to trade the morning. Because if the markets are going to move, it's not going to be a small move. And did I catch all of this move? No, right? Because my measurement just went to 270, which is the daily ATR. That's somewhere around here. We went another 600 points, but small overnight ranges where the daily ATR is increasing, that's a really big opportunity there, potentially, right? If the markets agree.
Yeah, and look at just session VWAP. The closer we got to the New York Open, it started to break.
Yep.
We looked at the first 3 minutes, we had urgency. Two things that told you they were selling, and they came out early.
Yeah.
When we held that session VWAP the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So as markets develop or as they go forward, first part of that fragmented information was we were under a session VWAP. And we actually had a pretty big range in the first 3 and 5 minute. It was
Yes, we did. This 3-minute candle is actually, I don't even have this measured out correctly. You're right, coach. This was a 150 point 3-minute candle.
Yeah. So right there, now we could say, well, but that was the heaviest volume of the day.
Right.
And this is where watching session VWAP can help. Where did it go to after the first 3 minutes?
Right, back up to it.
We rotated so that as we get more information, it gets less and less fragmented. The algo of the session VWAP is selling. As soon as we got there, selling came in. They finished that tranche of selling, and they rolled back up, and it's, oh, you want some more? Here's some more.
Yeah.
So something to watch there. I mean, because that's a tough trade with that large of a range.
Yep.
But in this context, that came after like you said, a flat overnight market.
Mm-hmm.
So that context is a little different.
Yeah.
I mean, they waited for whatever reason. It doesn't, to me, the reason doesn't matter. It's the result that matters. The result was heavy selling, pushing VWAP lower. Every time we touch session VWAP, we break until it just, the dam broken and off we went.
Just curious, anyone take advantage of the shorts in the equities today? And like you said, Coach Paul, this was a tougher trade. I took shorts, but it was not. It's a similar, maybe they're cousins, right? What we saw, the puzzle we saw today and the puzzle we saw yesterday, and this big of a range, this big of an opening range, changes the puzzle a little bit. It's going to take a lot more energy to get out of that opening range, and we didn't see the same urgency that we saw. I mean, look at VWAP. It took almost 2 hours, an hour and a half for VWAP to start to leave that range to the downside. But because it's such a big range, you're going to need more energy, right? If we look at yesterday's opening range was half the size. It takes less energy to leave a smaller range. So that's something that you can add to the puzzle, right? If you're looking for flow, 150 point range, it's not going to be easy to get out of there. 75 point range, we leave that range very early. Yesterday's trade was a much easier trade, I'll say. I took the short in the NASDAQ and eventually ended up getting short. I was selling against the overnight VWAP though, Coach Paul, because this range is so big. The market didn't have to leave this range, right? That's the way I'm looking at it. But it's a big enough range to trade where I'm okay taking the risk. If the overnight VWAP is right at the high of that opening range, I'm okay taking risk up here. So yeah, the size of that opening range could make a difference.
Well, yeah, you're risking more.
Yep, for sure.
Well, the reward actually turned out, and a 2 to 1 actually was more. But
Yeah.
understand that, and we never left that. It boy, did it test it too.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Now, right here, stop and learn this. If you're doing this, that's where the patience comes in. If you're trading emotionally or as you mentioned earlier, if you're over leveraged,
Yeah.
you gonna just bail. Has anyone ever done that?
I have.
And then you're chasing, right? And then so it sets up now. If you wait for the breakout, you still have the same risk. But this right here, when I see that's just hard to hold an over leveraged position on the long side or the short side. But
For sure.
here, trading the right size and being comfortable in those swings is going, if you're going to trade for direction.
Really nice flow the rest of the day. We did get once we eventually closed below this. So this was the high volume candle of the day. Sometimes high volume means continuation, right? We talked about this yesterday. That VWAP did leave to the downside. You could have continued to take it, but once we closed back above that, there you have it. What was the candle we marked out yesterday? It
That
was
one right there.
the drone candle.
Boy, it's almost the same day.
It's the exact same day as yesterday. They can't keep getting away with this, Paul, or they can, but we're on to you. So we're going to follow you and we're going to trade it. You can't
Let's
hide
get those
from
tin
us.
hats on.
Citadel. Can't hide from us. We see the pattern. We see the play. We see the play like a all-pro defensive back.
Yes.
Picking off the
Well,
pass.
did you see, speaking of the Citadel, Griffin threw a hint out he might run for president.
Oh, really?
I found that very interesting. I forgot it might have been Bloomberg, or he said, I might want to do my civic duty. I found
Okay.
it very interesting.
I doubt he wants to be like a mayor or something. Maybe we did have Bloomberg as a mayor in New York for a little while. I don't know why he did. There's probably a good reason why he did that. But if I was Bloomberg, I don't know, man.
Bloomberg or Griffin? Yeah, I don't know. But I thought it was very interesting timing after he starts trading metals.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
He's one of the greatest ever. So hats off to him.
Let's take a look at the other equity markets. Very similar stories here. October 10th, that candle, still important. The low of the day in the S&P today. I don't know, man. I don't know. Range-bound markets presenting great opportunities. The Russell trading between the 20 and 50 moving averages, and the Dow holding. Dow's strongest out of all of them. Dow's still just a 0.5% off the all-time high, holding that 20 moving average. Any one of these you want to talk to?
Dow shall not get short the Dow.
Yeah,
it's in stone. Well, we looked at let's look at S&P was very similar.
S&P was similar. 200 moving average. What is that white line again? Price advertises
Overnight.
Up there. Volume doesn't. Go ahead, Coach.
Overnight, it was actually looked stronger than NASDAQ. But like you said, we touched the white line, and very similar action, but not as volatile as the NASDAQ.
Yeah, not as volatile.
Realized it touched it twice.
200 moving average up there, yeah. Got pretty close up there. And then frame of reference, right? That October 10th candle set the low for the day. Do we get a J trade on the lows? Close to it, not exactly on a 3-minute, but
no, I was looking for it.
Awesome two-sided trade in these markets, and that is what highly volatile range-bound markets are going to give you. There's opportunity on both sides. You might have to wait, but there's opportunity on both sides for sure. Let's get to some questions. I do see a couple questions in the chat about ATR. There was one from HWB Prince. Could you explain quickly how to use ATR? Sure. First thing I'm going to do is look at the daily ATR. What that tells me is what the potential range is for the day. Now, there are going to be hey, Coach Paul?
Sorry, that came up fast.
Yeah, there are going to be a bunch of different factors that contribute to what the range can be for the day. If there's economic data coming out the following day, there's a potential for range contraction. But when I'm looking at the ATR, what I'm doing is on the daily, measuring on average how much can that market move for the day, and then looking at what we've done already when I get to the charts, right? If I get to the charts and I see a daily ATR of 85 points in the S&P, and we've only done 20 points of range high to low so far, what that tells me is that there's potentially 65 points of range available in this market for the day. That could be to the upside, that could be to the downside, that could be on both sides. It's up to me then to trade my process, and the market will tell me which way it wants to spend that range. And then on a shorter time frame, is there a specific ATR setting that you use? Standard. Keep everything simple.
14
14
is the standard.
14 is the standard. Then on a shorter time frame, how we're using the ATR, Coach Paul, I got to thank you for this. On whatever time frame I'm executing my trades, the ATR value times 2
Yes.
is the suggestion for the stop. So let's say I got long the S&P right here, 68.91. Look at the ATR value right above my shoulder right here. It says at that time, the 3-minute, which is my execution time frame, at that time, the ATR will round it up is 10 points. 2 times that value, which would be 20 points, is my stop. See where my stop goes, 20 points in the S&P, and now I'm looking for a 2-to-1 target. So on the shorter time frame, 2 times the ATR is my suggestion, Coach Paul's suggestion, and what I've been implementing in my trading recently. That's the stop. Now, if you hear that and you say 20 points is way too much, these guys are trying to get me to blow my account. There's one way that you can limit risk, Coach Paul, and what is that?
You don't have to trade. If you can't afford or you don't accept the risk,
Yeah.
pass the trade.
Yep.
It's one of the principles of consistent winners from trading in the zone.
Yeah.
So predefine your risk. Coach Jay just went through the process of predefining it. Now you could go to the one minute. I'm not suggesting it, but in 1 minute, it's probably about this. It's very similar. By the way, 20 points is the standard variation in the NASDAQ right now on just about every time frame.
Yeah.
What is it in the 1 minute?
5 points, so 10 points stop.
10 points. So
in this case, you would have got stopped out.
And you would have got, yeah. So one of the keys, though, is the average 2 ranges. If you're one average 2 range or stop, you're keeping tight stops, and you keep getting stopped out, you're not measuring. Your measurement is too tight. Think of a wheel, that's turning. It's turning. If it's too far, that's not good. It's too big. If it's too tight, it's just going to keep getting. It's going to break. In this situation, if you're tight, I only want to risk 10, but I want to make 100.
Yeah.
Well, then is that practical in the cycle that the market's in?
Right.
So keeping it outside of the one, you could go 1.5. I've been doing this a while. 2 is greater than usual.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's not going to hit, but I'm going to give it some room.
Yep. And we just hit a 2-to-1 on our trade without getting stopped out. And I don't know if this was the greatest trade location, to be honest, but give yourself a little room for error. Right? Too many people I see try to trade the NASDAQ. I saw somebody say, "Oh, if anybody's telling you to trade with wide stops, they just don't have a good trading strategy." It's like, sounds good. Try to trade the Nasdaq with a 10-point stop and let me know how that goes.
Well, you know what? I'll give him that. But you're going to get stopped. You're going to get stopped out, and you're
Okay.
going to lose. But your return has to be greater.
Yeah.
It has to be like 10 or 12 to 1
Right.
over time.
Yeah.
Because 10 points. Look at it. I could just. I don't. We don't have time for that. Trade as you will, but
Yeah.
understand its average range. We can leave the word true out because that takes in account for gaps, and
Yep.
intraday we don't have too many gaps.
Average
So
range.
it's the average range.
Got you. There was one more question about ATR. What is a good percentage of the daily ATR? This was a depends.
Stop
Oh,
here.
what percent? Yeah, Slip Kid said, what percentage of the daily ATR would you say is a reasonable catch for a day trader? And if you get it, is it time to stop for the day? I'll answer that second question first. If you get a full daily ATR move intraday, yeah, it's probably a good time to stop trading for the day. What percentage of the daily ATR would you say is reasonable? I think it depends on the trader. I never really look at my trading like that. I may look at an individual trade like that, but only to set a potential profit target. Coach Paul, you ever do that? What percentage of a daily ATR would you say are you trying to catch in a specific day?
No, I'm trying to get 2 to 1s
Yeah, I think that's the best way to look at it.
on 5 or 3 minute.
Yep. And by nature of doing that, you'll catch a pretty big piece of it. But yeah, if you catch 500 points in the Nasdaq in a day, go outside. Go watch a TV show. Go take a nap on the couch. Go play with your dog. Go do something else.
Go do something you really enjoy.
Really enjoy. I'll never forget all the veteran traders. You, Coach Paul, Coach Hoop, Hogue. When I first joined, Hogue was just like, I hate trading. I like making money, and you say the same thing. You say the same thing. So make your money and get out of here. But make sure you stay tuned into Topstep TV.
Execute a specific trading plan.
Yep, 100%. Coach Hoop, I'm picking it up this spring. I've been saying it for a while. This spring is a golf spring for Jay. All right, let's take a look at the gold market here on the daily. What are we seeing here?
A little bounce back. It's been a pretty big range from that bottom from Friday. Back above the 20. We closed over it yesterday. We touched it today. It's picking the momentum back to the upside.
Yes.
See if we can close at 50%.
We measured this one. We measured this one a little bit. Go ahead, Coach.
And then we have a good chance of picking up more momentum to the upside, because if it does, it's not going to be slow. This is one of the keys here is if we catch that, and we're starting to catch that. By the way, did we know it's this Friday? We touched the 50-day moving average and held it. Now we're going over. If we just put a line chart, it came back to value. This is a solid.
It's crazy, but it's strong.
So the next move could be up, could be quick and violent. The trend hasn't changed. It was a huge correction, was overdone. This is part of the game. So still in the uptrend.
Still in the uptrend after that major hit. Again, we measured this drop a little differently because it was a 3-day sell-off, 20%, and we're right back at 50% of it. But if you remember all the other times where we were measuring a 50% off a drop, gotta close above, haven't closed above, right? This was the one from October 21st. Everybody remember that candle in gold? 1, 2, 3, 4 tests of that 50% before we eventually closed above, made a new all-time high. And we came back and retested it, right? And then we measured this one in December. And how many days did it take to close above that? It was quicker. It happened in 3 days, made a new all-time high. Then we had the one in April, 6 test before we finally got a close above, and then we made all-time highs. So gold is trying.
This looks very much like that break in October. Was that October?
Yeah. Yep.
This, except larger.
Yeah. Yeah. Way bigger.
Yeah,
Way bigger drop.
but in relation, I mean, with this thing, it's quickly when it turns around. I well, I still when I don't want to get short gold.
Yeah. Not for a very long time.
Not
Ready for
me.
power? Yeah, no. Ready for power? I think that's what we just did, right? Compare gold to the last big breakouts. That's kind of what we have here. Hogue has been talking about this during the opening call. I agree with him. I think Coach Paul agrees as well. This major range, and we could even look at, just that one daily candle. We'll make it fair like we've done all the other candles. It's the same price, right? This 50% here, 50, 90. We get a daily candle close above that, then sure, gold is trying. But this has the potential. We've seen it. What was it? A 6-month ice age in gold where we were trading in a range. It didn't go anywhere. So maybe get prepared for that as well. And if it's anything like the NASDAQ, I'm going to love it. I think I've come maybe full circle on being a range trader, Coach Paul. It just has to be a big range on a daily. Right? If it's like if the NASDAQ was trading in like a 100-point range, I would never trade it. But 450 points that we're getting, ton of opportunity. And same thing here in gold. Same thing here.
Couldn't agree more.
Let's take a look at silver. Has a little more work to do. Has a little more work to do. Maybe it took a bigger hit for sure.
Well, it shed a lot of people. Whoever's in the silver now, and I'm talking in positions that's involved in the business of silver. But it shed a lot of speculative buying. See how, but it once again that held the 50 moving average. It stopped today dead at the 20-day moving average. See, if we can get above that and above that 50%, then there's nothing to stop this market from going to all-time highs in a hurry.
Nothing. We're still up on the year. Still up on the year, not as much as we were, but maybe it got a little unhealthy up here. We were already up 50% in 2026. Relax, silver. It's okay. Let's go slowly this time. But yeah, still a very bullish market. I haven't been trading it much, just with the risk. But I had a question for you guys. What is that white line? Price advertised higher, volume doesn't. Really nice opportunity to start to assume some risk up here. I think Coach Vince was talking about getting short when he came on TV today. I like it. That 200 moving average is going to be an interesting spot to continue to watch here in this silver market. Anything else you want to say in silver, Coach Paul? Should we move on to crude oil?
Yeah, that interesting. That's silver hit its high just that when the COMEX opened. So we had
what time is that in silver?
8 o'clock
Central.
Yeah, yeah, Central.
8 Central. Okay, so yeah, right there.
Now at that point we hadn't touched the 200, but right on the COMEX open after that rally,
yeah,
volume came in. The COMEX volume came in. And that was the high of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And did we make it? We went right back to where we started to, almost to the tick.
Yeah. Yep.
And look at that bounce. We're back halfway into the
right back to halfway through the range.
Higher on the day.
Yep. Yeah, up 5% on the day from yesterday's settlement. This is a wild market, man. A wild market. Tommy, the silver smaller contract, 100-ounce silver, 100-ounce, right? Silver contract is February 9th. So next week. next week, 5 days. We'll see when we are able to trade that contract. Topstep. Also, you may have gotten the notification that Topstep is restricting access for now to all accounts for the bigger metals contracts. So that's GC, SI. There's a couple others as well. So make sure you read that email, but for good reason, right? There's a lot of risk in these markets right now. Of course, social media is going to say why they think it's the case. But what I'll say is I traded micro gold last night and had a great time. There's still opportunity in that market. I made $2,500 trading micros last night in gold. So there is opportunity.
Two things I have to say on that.
Yeah, go ahead, coach.
Number one, the silver, 5,000 ounces, was designed over 50 years ago.
Right.
For the price of silver when it was around $3. It should have been changed a long time ago.
Right.
It's to a point. By the way, on my brokerage accounts, it's not an option.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a reality.
Yep.
So it's just the price. Now, if they want some of these, they want you to have $1 million. We had a range. We had a range of $213,000
on that big sell-off day. Yeah.
Silver. You could a gambling part or an unreasonable part is wow. I could just get $100,000.
Yeah.
All right.
Never thinking on the other side.
How many? There's no combines that have $100,000 in them.
Yeah.
So it's not realistic. It's really just gambling.
Yeah.
Because so consistency is the key. When does the 100-ounce silver start?
The 9th. I think the 9th.
The 9th.
The 9th. Yep.
Have at it. But once again, it doesn't fit this price action.
Correct.
It's antiquated. So it's kind of the end of the discussion. It's not there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, trade micro gold. Trade micro gold, right? Even micro silver right now. Gold is nice. But if you trade it, know where your risk is. Whatever you trade, know where your risk is. Let's move on to this chart.
Yeah. Yeah, before we go on, I'm going to give a big shout out to E. Clary 23.
Okay.
Coach Jay and Coach Paul, I just passed my combine after years of trying. So long that remember when you and I had a phone coaching call together, Coach Jay? Anyways, thanks for all the advice. That's
wow.
Big. Great. That's awesome.
Who was that in the chat? How did I miss that?
E. Clary 23 at 311.
I remember you. Yep. Awesome. That's awesome. That's great to hear. That is great to hear.
It's a smile on my face.
Yeah, mine too. That's pretty awesome. Way to stick with it. So I want to talk about that a little bit. It's taking you years to pass. We just had Daniel on Daniel Holmes. If you watch the segment after Fast Markets today, funded trader with Topstep. He's been a live funded trader with Topstep. He's been trading for 5 years, taken hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of payouts from prop firms. Said it took him 2 years to even pass an account, but he stuck with it. And he said it himself. He's just like, I was broke all my life, but I found trading and I understood that this is going to work, right? And I'm going to make this work. It took him 2 years to even get to that point of even being eligible to take out money, right? And then what happens is if you continue to follow a process, it starts off very slow and then it's like a snowball. Then it all starts going really, really quick if you stick with a process in mind, right? So for anybody, right? And I'm also very conscious of the fact that it took me a lot longer than that, because if you're not doing deliberate work, Coach Paul, you're just delaying your process, if ever giving yourself a chance to succeed at this. So as long as you're doing deliberate work and you let's be honest, trading is not going to work for everybody. There are going to be a lot of people who try this and quit, and that's okay. But if you are somebody who's been going through it and you're honest about the work that you're doing on the charts, off the charts, personally, journaling, understanding what works, understanding what doesn't work, it may take a little bit of time. Then things start to pick up momentum. So, Emily, shout out to you, and shout out to anyone who's continuing to try this process and continuing to try to improve.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
And, it brings out Ray Dalio of Bridgewater. He describes this whole process because he too, one of
Yeah.
the most successful hedge fund managers of all time, he too struggled and failed when he first started. By the way, he started in the futures as a hedging broker.
Right.
Quickly, he talks about this process, and in those years, there's first of all you struggle. It's like walking through fog, and what did you say, in the woods, you know?
Yeah.
But you don't. But you develop a process, and then you begin developing a process, and you learn how to cut your losses. Now you're struggling well. And then over time, you develop a habit. You become habitual, where you're not making decisions from emotion or just trying to chase money, but you're
Yeah.
executing a plan.
Yep.
Now you're no longer struggling. You're not emotional. You're accepting losses that are part of a planned process. And that's not, first of all, it's not natural to humans.
No.
You have to learn to deal with the constant uncertainty.
Yeah.
That's where the struggle really starts. So it takes time, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
So this is great news.
Yeah. Really good stuff. I saw somebody say it in the chat as well. You passed your combine. Finally, take your time in that XFA. Right. Take your time. No need to rush through the process. Understand that there's going to be losses in there as well. Which Vince just said it, right? There will always be a drawdown period. Just prepare now for how you're going to respond to losses, because they're going to happen. I took losses today. Even in, there was a time where I would have taken a loss today and it would have just led to a losing day overall. But prepare for how you're going to respond to your losses. And the easiest way to respond to them is to measure them before you even take the trade. So then it's, okay, this is what I expected. We move on. Next play mode. All right. Good stuff though. Crude oil, Coach Paul. Somebody said it had the potential to be the market of 2026.
Well, it was one of my better trades today. I bought the pivot.
Yeah.
And that happened at 8 o'clock. So the pivot was 62.85.
62.85.
The
If you
low was like 87.
guys didn't know, Coach Paul does a pivot class in Discord every day, right before the market open. There you go, Coach Paul. There's your pivot, 62.86.
So we traded down there. If we look overnight, we had sloppy trading. It looked much like NASDAQ. If we look at VWAP and the price action, so at 8 o'clock, we were trading down to the pivot. So I risked 30 cents. It was my budget for it. But interesting, it didn't just bounce and go. And this is where patience comes in. Look where it went to. What's the white line?
200 moving average on the 30-minute.
And then it bounced back down. And then it went up. But then now, in my younger days, I just got killed.
Yeah.
Because I wanted, first of all, you have to develop patience. The first time I got there, you still have this part of, go, just go now.
Yep.
Buy more. All right, where you're reckless.
Yeah.
But interesting, look at that rotation above the pivot. And then we look at VWAP, session VWAP.
Red line here.
And when we closed over it, then the news came out.
Oh yeah.
I don't know
No
what the news means. I don't
no
care what.
no nuclear deal. No nuclear deal.
Okay.
Friday was
Gee,
the
no wonder.
news.
Hmm. Um,
Think they trade pivots?
I don't know anything. I just know I have no control, but it was reading well. So it came to a part was just reading the market. I took a 2-to-1 on that. Um, but it was a sharp rally when it got over the 200, and it all happened real quick.
Yeah, it did.
And the white line.
Yeah. Yes, it did.
I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
but look what we like not being greedy. Like, okay, this time it's going to 70, whatever. Because there's a war.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taking reasonable profits, reasonable risk. But look when it stopped. Where did it go back to?
Right back to where it opened the day.
Yep.
Right around
So
50% of the daily range. A little bit lower than it. Ready for Power Hour says, "Wow, that pivot is spot on." I think I told you guys the last thing I've added to my trading recently, and this was a couple months ago. Coach Paul and I talking about it. Pivots, flow and pivots. Coach Paul, flow and pivots. If you hear anybody doing flow and pivot courses, understand where they got it from.
maybe we'll start adding it here. If we can get, how many likes do we have?
Not enough. What are we at? Let's check. We got 713 people viewing. We appreciate you all being here, first and foremost. 71 people liking the video, 72 now. I just clicked it as well. Don't worry, guys. I forget too. But if you can do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button. What do you want to bring here, Coach Paul? Let's set a target. What are you thinking?
Just 50.
50
Is
likes?
that reasonable?
We're at 70
50,
already.
50 more.
Oh,
so
okay.
120.
Okay, 120. All right. Ron says, "Will you be doing a pivot class again in the morning? If so, I will be there." He does it all the time. Every day. What time, Coach Paul? 8:30?
7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, yes.
7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. Coach Paul, you asked and you shall receive. We're at 1:30 now. So are we going to get a Coach Paul pivot?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to get a Coach Paul pivot explanation on at the buzzer. But again, he does this session in Discord where all of our coaches are doing classes. Coach Hoop, Coach Vince, Coach Ray, Coach Robert, Coach Paul, Coach Jack, all doing classes in Discord. Anne Marie's going to start doing classes in there, D as well. There's a ton of information if you go in there and you ask. 8:30 Central on Discord. You can take a look at the Discord calendar. There's a bunch of stuff in there. Coach Jack and I are doing a fireside chat tomorrow. Talk about markets that nobody really ever trades and Coach Jack's process. But yeah, that pivot was on point, and there's a nice trade, Coach Paul. Nice trade, man. Nice trade. Nice trade. Tiller, thumbs up for a better trading platform. It's been cooking lately. It's been pretty stable lately. Growing pains, right? Growing pains. Especially when you compare it to platforms that have been around for 10 plus years. Topstep X started off as a idea, and it's continuing to grow. I don't even think it's 2 years old yet. And we're going to continue to make it better. Shout out to the team who's building this platform. Shout out to any traders that may have had any issues. Never want to see anybody have issues with any of their trading platforms today. But
hey,
rising tide.
I'm a team guy,
yeah,
right? But I'm also fair, and I understand the pain.
Oh yeah,
platforms.
For sure.
But I have to bring this to a lot of people's attention. You're not paying for it.
Yeah.
I spend $6,000 a year on my platform fees.
Yeah. Yeah.
For my live trading. It comes and it's not avoidable. So it's getting better. The prices you can literally not beat. Sure, there are problems. I still have problems with platforms.
Yeah. All right, Tiller,
So
relax.
that's
We're
I
we're all
understand.
right.
I just don't. So
Let's let's uh let's keep going here. Any other markets we want to talk about? There was a bunch that moved. Shout out to soybeans. I
yeah,
think
what
it
was
was
that?
China news. Soybeans. China is going to buy a bunch of soybeans. Uh, so we spiked. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. You talked about crude oil. We mentioned this yesterday. Framing out the news candle and then trading from there. We frame out the news candle. Did VWAP ever leave this range? I think it did. That's iffy. That's iffy. Not surprising that we came back.
Well,
That's iffy on a 3 minute. All right, that's all
yeah,
I wanted to look at. Uh, soybeans. China's buying them. The hell
for
is
now.
this? This is a 5% move in soybeans. What was it up today?
At one time was up 25 cents. It was a pretty big move.
Two and a half, 2.5% on the day. This is just so the only reason I want to bring this up. You could never have traded soybeans before, but if you remember that process we talked about yesterday for framing out news events and then trading from there, you could have never traded soybeans in your life. And you hear a headline come out and attach a VWAP to the news, you get urgency, and now I'm a soybean man. Right now I'm a farmer. Right? If so,
If you
that's
own beans, you're probably a farmer.
right, right. But that's the way. If I hear somebody talk about a market, and we had this conversation last year, and somebody was saying there's no way that you could predict that this was going to happen. Of course not. I'm not looking at the soybean chart. But when I heard Coach Vince mention it, he's like, "Oh, look at beans! It just popped. China's buying soybeans." My brain doesn't go to the economy of soybeans because I'm going to be thinking for the rest of my life about why soybeans should be moving. But if I frame out where the volume started to come in, attach a VWAP to it, there's a trade here. Make my money and then never look at that market again until it presents another trade. And then right at the highs, we got a nice little reversal pattern up there. So, Lock Wayman, how do you read the volume on the 3 minute candle? Lock Wayman, you've been here for a while. How do we read volume on a 3 minute chart? You tell me. We do the same thing every day. But I'll explain it again for anybody who's new. Find the high volume, frame it out, attach a VWAP to it, and let it go from there, right? Let it determine from there. I'm not trying to make sense of every candle, but I'm looking for high volume. Once we get in a trade, I'm looking for continuation, right? So I want to see this volume sustain. I don't want to see it pop and then just drop off, right? You can see it here. We had a little bit of a valley here where the market slows down, but I want to see continued flow, right? I want to see these volume candles waxing and waning. Actually, here,
Wax on, wax off.
you remember that example? It's actually pinned to my Twitter. Give me. I clipped that up. Hold on. And I don't mind. Like Wayman, I know you've been here for a while. I don't mind. I'd never mind repeating myself. So ask questions until you understand it. That's why we're here. But there is the link to, I think, probably one of the better volume explanations we've done in a little while. Where would you enter on a 100 tick? For me, I probably wouldn't be using one, to be honest. We could look at one, though. In the soybeans, would you use a 100 tick chart here?
No, I don't use a tick chart.
Yeah. Maybe
I'm not putting it just.
Yeah. I don't know that I would look for entries.
It just doesn't fit my personality.
Yeah. I normally don't look for entries on the 100 tick chart. Every once in a while, I mean, I've been working with Dakota for a while, so I'll look at a 100 tick chart just to kind of get an idea of what he's looking at. But I use it more so for trade management purposes if I'm trailing a trade. But
Tiller,
yeah,
Wonderbob says use a 500 tick.
let's see if that looks a little different. What market was that? Soybeans?
Soya beans.
I mean, it's to me, it's kind of hard to tell where the move started. Right? Like, clearly here we have this marked out, but like if every one of these candles is showing very similar volume, it's a lot harder for me to see when that move happened. Coach Robert actually has a really good strategy for trading tick charts and range charts. If you join Coach Robert's classes,
Yeah.
he basically is looking for consolidations and then breakouts of those consolidations, right? So like something like this would mean the market's not moving. Something like this would mean the market's not moving. So then he's buying it on this breakout here. You could definitely do something like that. But personally, I can't trade off of him.
I like Tiller Wonder Bob says use time charts to enter and tick charts to manage. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Um, I
Yeah.
can see why you would think that. I don't,
Right.
but choose it and be consistent.
Yeah.
I
Brand.
still,
Yeah, go ahead, Coach.
it's never going to change for me because time is important to me.
Yeah.
I've looked at, and one of the things someone said here, yeah, Brandon
Yes.
East Step. Why not use it? Why do you not use it? I feel it makes me want to trade more than I should. Stop right there. That's
Yep.
exactly why I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Even if you see Dakota, right? Dakota's not making his decisions solely off of a tick chart. He has the NASDAQ up. He has tick chart next to a 5-minute chart, right? And his levels, and he starts at a higher time frame, looking at a daily, hourly, 5-minute, and then he's going to a tick chart to manage the trade on the side. He's not using the tick chart for entries, and some people do. Shout out to Coach Hoop. I know Coach Hoop uses range charts and tick charts. Ask Coach Hoop, how he would do it. But the reason I don't use it, Brandon, and I'm a volume trader, I've tried range charts, I've tried all these other things. They make me overtrade, right? I'm just, especially when there's crazy volatility, I need to slow myself down. I'm already somewhat hyperactive. It may not come off over on camera, but like I'll place a lot of trades. I need something to kind of do the opposite. So if you're overtrading, try a different time frame. Try a different time frame. All right, let's. Any other markets you want to talk about, Coach Paul? Any other markets you want to talk about, or you got more questions?
No, if we have more questions, I just wanted to say thank you to our audience. There was some good questions, and remember, I really mean this. There's no such thing as a stupid question.
None at all.
And I say this as a basketball coach, is I come ask the question now, because if you're confused, when is that confusion going to come out, and how is it going to penalize you? In the game.
Yeah, in the game. Yeah, ask all the questions you have to ask.
Yeah. If you're confused, that's fine. What's not fine is staying confused.
Yep.
So this is just, if you want to get better and you're confused, ask the questions.
Yeah, for sure. How do you have two charts open at the same time? Click on this little button up here next to the name of your platform. It's funny, this is named Tick Charts, and I don't even use them. I think I named them that one time, and I said I'm never using those again, but didn't change the name. But you can click on this little icon, and you got a bunch of, you can get up to 8 charts if you really wanted them. But yeah, I'm just choosing 2. You want them in different time frames. There's settings here. Go with 4. Yeah. I mean, if I showed you guys my Quant Tower platform, I have 8. I do have 8 side to side. How's my 8 set up? It's usually, yeah, it's like this. Right, and then I have the equities in these 4: NASDAQ, S&P, Dow, Russell, and then gold, silver, natural gas, crude oil. This is usually what my screen looks like. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, you got to change the link. Got to change the chart link to get different markets. So play around with it, right? Play around with your platform. There's a bunch of cool features and things like that. If you have any questions, Coach Robert has all the Topstep X in 5 minutes or less videos on the Topstep YouTube page. You got a question, Coach Robert has the video for it. I guarantee it. There's at least 100 of those videos, in 5 minutes or less, right? So even if you're me and you look at your YouTube at a 2x, it could be 2.5 minutes or less that you could get some information. But just play around, click around when the markets are closed. Don't just click around and accidentally get into a trade. But platforms are pretty cool. All right, micro Bitcoin is definitely in trouble. It's getting beat up, but I think we had a question here that we could probably both give an answer to. I don't know how many people are going to care about this one, but I care. I think Coach Paul would as well. Yair says, my daughter has her last basketball game. She's in 5th grade, 2nd year of basketball. What advice would you give her? I don't know positions, so I don't know. She's usually on the outside. What advice would you give a 5th grade girl playing basketball, 2nd year basketball coach?
First question, is she having fun?
That's it.
Especially at that age. And I've coached girls, boys. I've coached from 3rd grade to varsity men's basketball, all through that, especially with they're all kids.
Yep.
You're having fun. And you find if they're having fun, they'll learn.
100%.
If they're not having fun, and by the way, if you're coaching girls and they turn on you,
That's it.
You're done, man. So when they have fun, they don't really at that age, the winning and the losing doesn't really matter as much. They'll learn.
Yeah.
So learn her position. Hopefully have her learn how to play every position.
Yep.
Get her when you have you're going to be a point guard. You're going to learn all the positions. You'll get better. And number one, when you get better, you have more fun. And then you find out if they really want to do it.
For sure.
Then I hand it off to you, Coach.
I think that's the advice I give my nephew, who's in first grade, just started playing as well. And I gave my brother the same advice. My brother's coaching him. I'm definitely a better basketball player than my brother was. So, and I coached for a very long time. But I told him, I'm just like, as long as he's having fun, it doesn't matter. I just saw Yair. You're saying that it was a close game. They lost the game. Coach Paul, you've coached thousands of basketball games at this point. Do you remember your record?
I have no clue.
Right. The wins and losses don't matter. And what a lot of youth coaches are going to do, and again, I realize that we are not even talking about trading anymore, but the reason this show is called At the Buzzer is because Coach Paul and I are both basketball coaches. What a lot of youth coaches are going to do is focus on winning, right? It helps build their program or whatever it is. It gets very political at some point. At the age that your daughter is right now, if she focuses on building skills while having fun, all of the politics stuff will figure itself out later if basketball is what she's meant to do. But if it's just something that she likes, just keep encouraging her to do something that she likes in the sport. And that I've seen kids have way more fun who aren't as good as the best kids on the team just because they enjoy the sport. One thing I've coached kids that are about to get full ride, D1 scholarships in the next year to high major schools. And I've coached kids that are, they stopped playing at high school level. So one thing I told them is that if you like the sport of basketball, stay around it, because every team has a nutritionist, every team has a team doctor, a physical therapist, somebody that works in finance for the team and all that other stuff. But it comes from the love of the game, so that has to matter first.
Otherwise, it's a job.
Yeah, right.
And one other thing I would say is the lessons, life lessons. Those same life lessons and those principles will help you in whether you're playing basketball, making decisions in life, or trading. Those are universal principles. So it all comes from having fun.
Yep.
And she'll let you know how serious she wants to be.
For sure. For sure. Great questions though. And if she's hitting threes now in 5th grade, tell her keep shooting. If you're open, shoot it. If you're open, shoot it.
You miss every shot you don't take.
Hand down, man down. But great question. That was fun. I miss coaching basketball. Black Wayman, did you not see my? Okay. All right.
Uh,
We're gonna get out of here. Coach Hoop's doing his class at 6 p.m. Eastern time. After that, Coach Ray and Coach Vince, 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. Dakota with Soul Market tonight at 8:30 Eastern. Aaron with the London Open 2:30. E with the Euro Trade at 4:30, and we'll be back for the opening call. Lock Wayman, take a look at this video that I'm posting in the chat. I think that's it. Coach Paul, you got anything before we go?
Plan your trade your plan, and we'll talk again tomorrow.
Awesome stuff. See everyone tomorrow. See you soon. Bye. I'm never selling Bitcoin. I'm a hodler.